This is a new day, a new beginning.
So Tales of the Jedi came out this past week, and I have to say, it was a pretty good show. Even though we only got 6 shorts, it was still incredible. I love the Dooku arc. Was probably one of my favorites in Star Wars, and Ahsoka, obviously, her arc was just amazing overall. But each episode was very interesting in its own. Like in episode 1, we got how Ahsoka was born, how she got her Force powers, and that we learned that she has beast control like Anakin did in episode 2. And it shows that her mother wanted her to face death after she was born, which was pretty incredible for that. So that was pretty cool. Episode 2, 3, and 4 focuses on Dooku's arc and how he turned from the Jedi and how he viewed the Jedi, which I thought was pretty cool. And in episode 2, we got to see Qui-Gon, which was pretty cool, a young Qui-Gon, and we learned from his master that everything's not all black and white, and there's gray areas of the Jedi Order and people around him, which was pretty cool. And it showed that Dooku wanted to stop corruption, wanted to stop all this, which we saw in episode 2, which I thought was pretty cool. And then in episode 3, which we could see that Dooku progressed much quicker because we saw him in episode 2 without a beard, and then in episode 3 we saw him with a beard, which was cool. And episode 3 was with Mace and how Mace got a seat on the council, which I think he got the seat before the mission, because obviously he wouldn't have gotten picked for it. Because I think if Mace didn't know that he was going to get chosen, he would have never went on the mission, and he would have never gotten a seat. Because I feel like that seat would have went to Dooku if given the proper respect that he deserved. Which, when they got back for the mission, I believe that Dooku was mad because Mace basically snitched on him. Let's be honest, Mace snitched on Dooku, which is not cool. Which makes me realize why I don't like Mace Windu that much. And we just see a progression of how Dooku feels about the Jedi Order, and that he just doesn't like them that much. And episode 3 was probably one of my favorite episodes of Tales of the Jedi, because we got to see before episode 1 where he's talking to Qui-Gon and how he wants to meet his Padawan Obi-Wan, which we got that scene in episode 2 when Dooku was talking to him about Darth Sidious and how the Senate is controlled by him, which I thought was pretty cool, how to make that connection. And then later on in the episode, we got to see Dooku go to a Force-sensitive tree, which he took Qui-Gon to, because out of all the places in Coruscant where it's made of brick and steel and stuff, that was the only nature part that Qui-Gon liked. And then we also learned that Qui-Gon died at Naboo in episode 1, so this is probably days after the events of episode 1, and then that Darth Maul killed Qui-Gon, and we see that Dooku wasn't going to the funeral because he was going to see Darth Sidious. But before that, and Yadel talks to him, and it's just yeah, will you be coming to the funeral? And he's like, no, I don't think I'm going. And then we get this, and then we see where he went to the industrial district where he got to talk to Sidious, and said that he's done everything, he's betrayed everybody, there's no going back. And since Sidious lost a Padawan, he figured that Dooku and him could team up, because since Dooku lost his apprentice, they could work together. And Yadel follows Dooku over to the industrial district where he was meeting Sidious. And obviously she was hiding, which, if she didn't expose herself and jump out and talk to Dooku, I feel like she could have gotten away and basically went back to the Jedi and told them. But nevertheless, she jumps out and is like, Dooku, I gave up my seat on the council because I didn't feel like it was right for any of this, and she felt this. I feel like she felt the same way as Dooku, because they both probably had the same morals, but Dooku was like, I can't go back to doing what I've done. And it starts off a pretty amazing, I would say pretty amazing battle between Yadel and Dooku, which foreshadows how he fights Yoda. But the music for the battle between Yadel and Dooku was probably some of my favorite music, which was pretty cool. And we all thought that Yale died because when she got crushed, but yet we hear that force theme of her just lifting up the hangar door, which I thought was pretty cool. But she uses the rest of her strength to open up the door, and she falls right back into where Dooku and Sidious were, and that's where Yaddle meets her end by Dooku's hand. But nevertheless, it was a pretty good episode in my opinion. In episode 5, we got, which I like this episode of Ahsoka because it shows the parallel between defending herself against the clones, and that Anakin was teaching her that no matter what happens, you always gotta be prepared. And I feel like he kept pushing her because he wanted her to be better than what she was at, which I thought was pretty cool in my opinion. And it helps her survive in season 7 of the Clone Wars during Order 66, when obviously we know what happens in season 7, and also in season 5 when she's getting chased for absolutely nothing, and how she deflected the stunner bolts, which I thought was pretty cool because that goes back to her training with Anakin, Rex, and the clones on how to defend herself, which I thought was pretty cool. And then we get a flash forward of that same scene in season 7 where Rex is taking her out to meet Jesse, and I love how the doors close, and that's where the episode ends, which I thought was pretty cool because I like the parallel between it. Like George Lucas said, it's like poetry, it rhymes.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme, every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one. Hopefully it'll work.
That were pretty cool. And yeah, I just thought it was a pretty good episode. Now on to episode 6, which for many people I've seen lately on Twitter and all other places that a lot of people did not like this episode only because it retcons the Ahsoka novel, which I will definitely be making a separate video to that because it's a very interesting topic. But yeah, we see that Ahsoka is on a farmland and that her name is changed to Ashla, which is the same name she has in the book, which I thought was pretty cool. Do a little throwback. But yeah, a lot of people did not like this episode because it retconned the Ahsoka book and it retconned a lot of things in that novel. But I enjoyed it because I probably one of the most badass Inquisitors I've seen designed and everything with the bird skull mask and everything, but he was taken out pretty quickly, which I thought would be a more quick of a fight, but it's Ahsoka and an Inquisitor. Come on, who would win? Let's be honest. But yeah, I thought episode 6 was really good because it showed what happened to her after, and that we also, I forgot to mention that we also got to see Padme's funeral, which I'm not gonna lie, did bring tears to my eyes, which was pretty upsetting. But we did see her and Bail talk, and Bail gives her a comlink, which was interesting because that's another. I'll get into that in a separate video, but he gives her a comlink to whenever she's in trouble, whenever she needs it, and obviously at the end of the episode we see her call Bail and get escorted off the world because everything there is burned, and which she helps 3 survivors, which was pretty cool because that's Ahsoka. She's always helpful no matter what happens. And when Bail asks, is she ready to get back in the fight, all she does is just, and that is pretty cool. It was a pretty good season. I enjoyed it more than less, but let me know what you guys think. And that is the end of my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to keep making videos like this because Honestly, it might be my first video, but I am really enjoying making videos. I'm enjoying the community, and I'm just overall enjoying Star Wars again because of what's been going on lately and stuff. But yeah, I did like this season. I hope we get more seasons like this in the future. Like a season 2, we could follow Sifo Dyas. We could even go back and fill in gaps like Old Republic area. We could fill in the High Republic. We could make maybe not shorts of this, but maybe longer. But I hope we see another season of Tales of the Jedi. Even make another show called Tales of the Sith. We could follow so many Sith Lords through the Old Republic. We could follow Plagueis. We could fill in more gaps with Darth Vader and Palpatine. Hell, me personally, I would love to see Tales of the Sith and see the Deceived book be represented and be adapted into the show, because we could see Malgus. We could see so many people. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want to see in season 2 or anything else, and let me know how everything goes. See ya in the next video.